from Novak Properties, latest recruit of Michael Burgio in the commercial team. So Michael and I have just been brainstorming and we're talking about how interest rates are so low at the moment, and these are the cash interest rates. I mean, we've had 2 back-to-back cuts in June and July, and potentially markets are talking about another cut very likely soon, and potentially even another second cut. So what does that actually mean for commercial property?
Yeah, well, I think it means we're going to have a surge of activity in the commercial market, and generally when there's a good sentiment for people to buy and more people are looking to buy, prices generally go up, because as an agent it's all about the competition. When we've only got one buyer compared to having a frenzy of 3 or 4 buyers at a property, it makes a world of difference. So I think landlords have gone through, and sellers have gone through a bit of tough times the last sort of 12-24 months, especially if we use the example of just sort of retail shops. They've been pretty stagnant. We've seen a bit of a decrease in activity and also in yields. But traditionally, a property would be selling at 6, 7, 8% rental return, and people were borrowing the money at 5.5 to 7.5%. So really the difference was only 2%. And now with the first 2 rate cuts we've had in what, 2 years, people can actually borrow money for a commercial property at around 3.5, 4 and a bit %. But the key thing was they've actually, what they did in residential, they're removing the buffer. So even though you may be able to borrow money at 4%, they still wanted you to be able to service 7.5%. So it was a little pointless. So, but they just announced it this week that that's coming out. So I think that's going to be huge for the commercial market, for it to explode with potential growth. Because if people were willing to buy property at 1 or 2% gap between what they were borrowing to the rental return, and now there's going to be a chance to actually find a great buy at say 6, 7%, because yields are still there, but people haven't caught on. Now you're borrowing at half the value. There's going to be a few savvy people out there that will buy very quickly, and then I think we're going to start to see the prices will go up.
Yeah, and the interest rates remaining low is going to be, this is something new to Australia maybe, but it's not new globally. It's already happened in Europe, it's already happened in Japan. So interest rates remaining low is probably something that's going to stay for a while.
Yes, and especially when you look at the long-term 5 or 10-year fixed rates, they're still significantly low. One thing we haven't seen, which may come out of the woodwork, which Japan do, is they have longer loan terms. So here we're traditionally 15 to 35 years at those rates, because people are going to say, well, can rates get any lower? We need, at the moment, the economy needs those rates to be where they are. If not, they're suspecting another couple rate cuts. Then if that doesn't give the economy the boost it needs, you may actually see, like in Japan, 40, 50, I believe they go up to 70-year loan terms. So in summary, this is great for the commercial market, where people will be able to borrow more money and get a higher return. At the end of the day, if you're borrowing at 5%, your return's 5%, it's quite irrelevant if the return's 5%, because you're making 0%. So it's great news that the rates to borrow will be lower, and the servicing is, they're taking it out, but the yields are still at 6, 7%, so you're going to make some money.
And it's going to be better than your cash in the bank.
Yeah, well, that's even worse. Soon you'll start losing money if the money's in the bank.
That's right.
All good. Any questions, feel free to give us a call anytime. Thank you.
Thank you.